We've all dreamt of it, haven't we? That moment you stumble upon a forgotten treasure tucked away in an attic, a dusty basement, or, in this case, a simple, unassuming shoebox. It's the fantasy that fuels shows like Antiques Roadshow, the hope that a piece of our own family history might just be a lost piece of everyone's history. But every so often, a story unfolds that transcends even that dream. A story so potent and personal it leaves both the expert and the audience breathless. This is one of those stories. Imagine the scene: the bustling, vibrant atmosphere of the Maryland Zoo, where the Antiques Roadshow has set up camp. People from all walks of life are waiting patiently, clutching their heirlooms, their flea market finds, and their family curiosities. A gentleman steps forward, placing a small, worn watch on the table in front of the appraiser. It's an old military-style timepiece, missing its crystal, its face weathered by the years. It has spent decades, he explains, simply sitting in a shoebox. But this wasn't just any watch, and this wasn't just any guest. This man was the grandson of one of the most iconic, formidable, and revered figures in American history, General George S. Patton, Jr. The expert, Peter J. Cohen, leaned in, his professional curiosity immediately piqued. You could see the gears turning in his mind as he examined the piece. He quickly identified it as a trench watch from the World War I era, made by the esteemed Waltham Watch Company of Massachusetts, a pillar of American craftsmanship since the 1850s. These watches were born of necessity, designed for soldiers to wear on their wrists in the trenches, a significant innovation from the pocket watches of the past. Cohen, a man who has seen countless artifacts of war and time, handled the watch with a reverence that hushed the onlookers. I've seen hundreds upon hundreds of World War I military trench watches, he explained, his voice tinged with a growing sense of wonder. Then came the first bombshell. I don't remember seeing another solid gold one ever. Solid gold. Let that sink in. A trench watch was a tool, an instrument for the battlefield, a piece of gear destined for the mud, grime, and chaos of war. Making one from solid gold was almost unheard of. It was a statement of profound significance. Cohen pointed out a small, clever detail, a protective guard over the crown. So in action the crown wouldn't break off, he noted. This wasn't just a beautiful object, it was built for the crucible of combat. It was designed to endure. The missing glass? Not a big deal, Cohen assured the guest. The dial was original. The radium that once made it glow in the dark now faded into a ghostly memory of its former life. But the true soul of the watch was yet to be revealed. With the careful hands of a historian unearthing a sacred text, Cohen turned the watch over. There, etched into the golden case, was a message that transformed this from a historical artifact into an intimate love letter. The hand-engraved inscription read, Lieutenant Colonel George S. Patton, Jr., Tank Corps. This simple line grounded the watch in a pivotal moment. This was before the four-star general of World War II, before the legend was fully forged. This was Patton, the rising officer, a pioneer in the nascent and terrifying world of tank warfare. But it was the word inscribed below his name that delivered the emotional payload, a single word that carried the weight of 1,000 prayers. Mispah. Mispah, Cohen explained softly, is a Hebrew word that has several meanings. He paused, letting the gravity of the moment settle. I think the meaning here was that God is watching over you while we're apart. It was a whisper from his wife, Beatrice, a silent promise sent across an ocean to the front lines of a brutal war. Mispah. A covenant of love and faith, an appeal to a higher power to shield her husband while they were separated by an uncertain and violent world. It was her heart, etched in gold, ticking against his wrist. One of a kind, I would think, wouldn't you? Cohen asked, his professional composure now completely melted away into pure, unadulterated awe. I would think so too, the grandson replied, his voice calm but filled with the quiet pride of a family legacy. This watch was no longer just a watch, it was a tangible link to the man behind the myth. We know George S. Patton as the audacious, pearl-handled, pistol-wielding general. But this watch tells a different story. It speaks of the husband, the man loved so deeply that his wife gave him a golden shield, a prayer he could carry with him into the fire. Cohen struggled to find the right words to encapsulate its importance. Your grandfather, George S. Patton, American hero. There's a name that's known all over the world, he began. He stressed that even though it was from World War I, long before the peak of Patton's fame, its significance was immense.